Good afternoon and good morning, everyone. This is Jabril Bensedrin from CISA Systems Inc. Hopefully you can hear me. We have today the pleasure to have one of my colleagues who's joining us directly from France, Alexis Bélanger. It's already 8 p.m. there. Yeah, thank you very much, Alexis.
Thank you.
So just a brief presentation of Alexis and today's topic. As you know, we are going to share, or he's going to share 5 ideas that he gathered from his interaction with pretty much 14,000 companies over the years. And these 5 ideas, I think we're going to see them on the screen right now, are typically, well, we will see them on the screen. Alexis, you have that on in front of you.
Yeah.
It would be great. So these simple ideas that can make a significant impact, envisioning the lean enterprise, what it is, what's the concept, and starting from something very really from the ground up, which is the training of the teams, and in a very special way that is gamifying. Basically, you've all heard the gamification trend. So learning by playing can make a big difference. And then the third point is ergonomics, which is not just for office work. You know, we all hear about the issues of office workers, but actually it's increasingly of interest and makes a big difference in the performance and well-being of workers across the manufacturing plants, and visual management, as well as more generally speaking, the visual factory. So hopefully we'll have some time for Q&A. We're going to try to fit all this in 30 minutes. There are many more ideas, of course, that Alexis could discuss, and hopefully we'll have him again for a future webinar if you're interested. So just briefly in terms of background, so you know, I think I've seen your more than I think you're several dozen members today on the call, and most of you are familiar with CISA Systems, but just for those who don't know Alexis or the company and what we're sharing today in terms of experience. The company is a specialist in tools for operational excellence. Really, by tools, we mean really hardware, products, equipment, both for today and tomorrow, including the digitalization and the tools that help you bring some digital tools in your manufacturing plants. So 14,000 companies, a bit more, over 30 years, bringing more than 150 new products per year, a number of patents, registered models sold around the world, especially to companies that are multinational and that want to have a standard operating procedures and spread their best practices across their sites, but also a lot of mid-market companies as well. And so that's what we're sharing today with you. You may see on the screen, hopefully you see that a bit of historical perspective on the different product lines that the company has developed, from workstations to some different methods to train teams, lean office, floor racks, and so on, as well as more recently the CISA Hub, which is a way basically to transform, to bring in a digital manner what you have otherwise in your whiteboards. And again, it's just one more minute about the background, and why I'm sharing this is just so that you have a sense of where all these ideas are coming from and what Alexis is sharing with us. He's walked in hundreds and hundreds of manufacturing plants of our clients, and so what you see at the screen is some of them. Again, we don't want to give the impression that it's only based on what is affordable and feasible for large companies. There are thousands of companies that are mid-size as well. And if you see the list of sectors also, it's not just for those sectors that you think, well, they are obviously the prime candidates for lean. it's really across sectors, including in services actually. So I'll stop here and I'll let Alexis produce these 5 ideas. Thank you so much, Alexis.
Thank you, Jabal. So I'm starting with the lean enterprise. So the concept basically how you may apply it into the production process, but lean enterprise is covering all the aspects of the company, from the upstream processes, covering all the sales administration department, production, of course, historically mainly in manufacturing areas, warehouse and processing areas, then downstream processes like invoicing and support processes, for example, the supply chain, the quality department, and so on. And the goal, of course, is to provide to the customer the best experience that he can have with your product or with your services. So just a simple, very simple diagram that you may be already familiar with. So here you have operation without added value in red, operation with added value in green, and all the risk in yellow. And so by implementing lean, we have a new diagram with a better flow, reduction of operation without added value, and of course risk which are under control. And so this is how we sum up also the concept to the system is based on the visual factory. It means also the visual factory that it's a guarantee of high performance and efficient factory because you are using visual management and lean manufacturing. And this method are like 5S, TPM, Kanban, Kaizen, and so on. And so the visual factory means also that you are enhancing the value of your production tool and company. That's a figure also I will share with you is that company which implement lean see a 10 to 20% increase the first year as it improve handling, time waster, and the flows. And so basically you will have all elements in white that could be your production machine, and all around you will find different product families presented in the catalog. About the games, so basically this is a way to learn better about those approaches like 5S, TPM, visual management, Oshin, Kanban, lean manufacturing, and so we learn so much better when it's fun. And with this method, basically it's possible to train all staff. And as you can see on this picture, you gather people from the production, but also from different departments which are concerned by a specific approach. We have also those starter kits. Most of the time, customers are asking, how can you start with a lean project? How is it possible to put that in reality concretely? So we have a content helping you to drive a pilot project and to set up, let's say, this action into the production area. So for example, in this kit, you start in a specific location, and then after you can extend this pilot project all over the plate. About the ergonomic, so as Jabal say, is not only for the office, but also for the production. Ergonomics is to prevent MSD and problem related to the work operations to the operator. So you have different type of work. Some are very precise, some are light, some are demanding, and so you need to have a comfortable position and to be also close to the task and the object you work. Organize the work to ensure that all frequent operation can be easily accessible. And as you can see on this drawing, then you will have areas that you use that are very accessible, and some areas that are rarely used. So you have to find a way also to equip a station and make sure that every component are easily accessible to the person. So this is what we propose to help you also building a workstation is simply making an analysis from the top to the floor by having a clear and precise identification of those stations, to have enough light, of course, to have an access to all necessary information like instruction and procedures, for example, and an easy access to the tools and connection, and also the waste management in respect of the 5S principle. Also regarding ergonomic, anti-fatigue matting are playing a big role. So first, it's presenting certain aspects or to avoid sleeping at your workplace, and really have play a big role to decrease the pressure on the muscle. And semi-seated position or completely seated position with those seats. So you will have, for example, for the position on the left, 80% of your body weight on the back and 20% on the floor, and 50% on the back on the other position. So well, there are also people moving around the company which have to be very dynamic. So in this case, you can provide him a very dynamic position to avoid any back problems. So choosing a seat is not an easy thing, but you have to take in consideration the type of work undertaken, the work environment, and some other aspect of your environment. And you will have some example here of picking, logistic, and lean supermarket. So the goal here really is to create a lean supermarket into the production in order to avoid any production breakdown into the production. So you have some example from Airbus and here from Jabil, and you have a good example of what can be these picking station with the floor marking, with identification, and absolutely all identification for every single box on this structure. Implement the visual management is also important, of course, to let's say be lean and a lean enterprise. So we do all use visual management every day without noticing it. So you can take example of your car in everyday life, and when you turn the key to start the car, then you make sure that all the warning lights on the dashboard go off, and indicating that everything is normal. And however, if there is a light indicator or red indicator on the light, then the vehicle just stays and you have to be repaired. And also while you are driving, you have always an eyes on the fuel gauge, and when the orange light comes on, then you need to make an action plan. And that's more or less the same in the production. So you have to make the operator reacting to the figures and to the actual trends and objectives, and everything is related to a good communication. And the performance depend on the proper understanding of the message at every stage of the company. So here, this is a pyramid. So basically, this is a company organization that it can be different according to the company size, of course, but you will have the factory, the area, the teams, and the operators. And the goal, of course, for everyone is to provide or the best experience to your customer. And communication is a process. The factory gives driving information. So how many pieces do you need to produce, or what's the level of claim that we have to, what's the level of quality that you want to deliver. So some information will be strategic, some will be tactical, and some will be operational. And in this case, there is a monitoring process given from the machines that give information in real time, non-real time, and that's possible with some scoreboards. So it means that the operator will give information about the ongoing production every hour, then every day for the team, every week for the area, and every month for the whole factory. And in some companies like Valeo, for example, it's not possible to start working without these top 5 or top 5 meeting in the morning. So again, an example of what Airbus is as a global organization. So I don't want to also spend too much time on this diagram, but you understand that everything here is lean at every stage of the production. And this is possible thanks to a very good communication between all the sectors and all the levels in the company. And communication is an essential element to provide, let's say, enough, information about the actual performance of the company, the actual problems, of course, to react immediately to. So you can have people that are very well trained, motivated, but if you don't make any communication between them, between all the sectors, then there is a very big element that is missing. So that's an overview of the visual management standards by Airbus. And so basically each level will have a certain type of board available for daily meetings, like SQCDP, production control board, different metrics, different Kaizen boards, process confirmation. And for the operators, for example, simple hand-on system. So every level can be different according to the size of the company, but this is what we find in the biggest company, is that the communication is spread into different levels. And so you have an example of what can be a SQCDP team board, so providing key information about the performance. You will have some production control board in different areas. Then you will have also some continuous improvement review. So it allows to structure the visual planning and to react also to the actual problems that are met during the production process. This is a board for the work in progress as well. So I have 1,000 examples from Airbus, but as you can see, there is a board and communication for at every stage of the production. And some application, as I spoke about the different levels, so 4 levels. Operation communication per hour could be just a scoreboard at every production line, as you can see on those pictures. We have teams which communicate per day, so it means that you have also those boards in the middle of the production, but space is not an issue. So here you have the possibility to have 3 sides, 3 faces, 4 faces, 1 face per indicator, and so on. Communication by week that will offer a bigger size board. You can also integrate a screen for regular information that you need to update every hours. And so, for example, here by ArcelorMittal, they are still keeping this traditional visual management system, integrating also a screen in the middle to access to all documentation. And communication by months, so in which you create a kind of pleasant environment with cafeteria tables, and you display information from the production, but also from general information from the company. So just a simple definition of what is visual management is to measure, to share information, and to set up corrective action in order to progress. That's as simple as that. And so basically, as a customer, also when you buy something, when you buy a TV, you want it at a good price, you want it now, you want quality, and you want a product that respects some safety environment principles. So what you deliver to your customer is exactly what you want in real life. And visual management has to be very simple. So we've managed also to make sure that the message can be clear enough to be understood by the majority. So achieve the visual factory, and that will be the final point of this presentation. start with 5S. That's clear. So it's impossible to work in a messy factory. And so in order to set up 5S project, so we spoke about the games previously in order to train and to make sure that everyone can be concerned by this actual method. You can start a kickoff, managing also the board and different indicators on the board, action plan, and equip the factory with cleaning points, visual cupboards, and everything to identify each single areas and spaces. And of course, making regular audits around those machines or those workstations. So we have some examples here by customer using flow marking, using cleaning points, as you can see on the left and on the right, visual cupboards by identification also of every single component into the cupboard. And so by Airbus also, this is an example of a 5S project. And the ideal factory, we speak about the visual factory. So the goal is to achieve the model factory. And as you can see on this diagram, you have many products or identification in order to, let's say, make it happen. And of course, the goal is to make also your customer dream, because I'm sure that more and more you have customer visiting your factory, and that may influence the client decision between two similar products. Having the client in your factory is extremely important, and that's the new industrial marketing element to highlight the advantage of your production. And we have also some example of a concrete visual factory with a very good organization, with lines, with signs. Here by GKN in Firenze, you have shapes also by Airbus, where everything is safe for the operators, but also for the visitors. You could even eat on the floor, I'm sure, here, because everything is absolutely perfect. And let's say the digital visual management. So more and more we speak about digitalization of visual communication. Well, first you have to be lean before going to this direction. And we see more and more customers coming back to the traditional boards because themselves they're not ready to do it, or sometimes the operators are not willing to use those tools. So there is a trend, but be careful. You have first to be lean, and after make sure that all the people are ready to use those devices. So you see this pyramid that could be exactly the same than before, but instead of board, you have a tablet for the operators. Then you will have a screen for the team leaders. You will have the e-meeting for the managers to enter weekly informations, and the active board for Obeya rooms for the CEO, for example, for monthly communication. And so since 1 year, we have developed a system that allows collection of information and publication of those indicators on different screens. We can also provide some equipment in order to set up screens with different channels to display your own indicators for accident, for the daily production, and so on. You can display also ongoing information about your lean project and progresses, channel for the life of the company, your best customer, and you have a channel for the daily information. And there is an additional example by Airbus. So here they have integrated the screen directly into the production area, because first this is a clean area. I will say this is not too difficult. And so here they have an access to all the documentation they need to update every day and to work on to make the action plan. So you can write, you can have an access to absolutely all the documents from your network. And so this is how we could sum up the presentation. Visual Factory. It's a benefit for the company, of course, on the organization itself, but also providing industrial showcase and technical showcase, providing also more performance and quality delivered to your customer. And for the benefit of the operator, that will be more safe, of course. They work in better working conditions, of course. So we have the possibility to make a constant interaction with a customer. We are present in New York. We have an academy, and so what we are guided by the success of our customer, and so we can ensure the success of your project by having you on site also, if you have time to come up. You can also have access on the website and download absolutely every information and every catalog on cesasystems.us.